Hey, what's up, guys? I get this question a lot, so I just wanted to make a quick video about it for everyone and pretty much talk about how I think and what goes through my mind pretty much when I'm doing test after test after test and launching all of these different products every day. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different shirts I launched at the same time and pretty much talk about the kind of early cues I use to determine how I think the campaign may go in the future. As a forewarning, both of these shirts could fail. Like, I'm not saying either one of them will succeed. I don't really put much thought or hope into any particular campaign. I just launch, I just launch and I stay consistent with my launches, and I don't really try to, put hope and expectation into one particular campaign, but I do look at a number of different things in the early on in the ad set to see what kind of possibilities I think the campaign would have, what kind of potential I think it'd have. So one of the first things I do is, just look at the ad set data that comes back when you launch a campaign. Within about an hour to 2 hours, you'll start getting some data back, and it will be small data. You may reach 50 to 100 people, but that's the first time I actually look at my ad set. When I reach about 150 people, I look at my ad set and see what the early stats look like. So if I reach 100 people and only one person stopped to even pay attention to my ad enough to click like, not saying that they actually clicked to the website, that they shared or anything, but just one click, I look at that as a problem. So I don't want to show my shirt to 100 plus people and only have one person stop and look at my ad, especially when the targeting that I'm using is supposed to be really good, laser targeted. If I'm targeting an audience that I know is super interested in the niche and super interested in the concept that I have, I want to make sure that, first of all, I'm spending enough to know that I don't walk away from a winner, but second, that I'm not overspending something that's not going to be a winner down the line. Okay, so I've heard a lot of different things of people. They'll say, leave your campaigns running for 2 to 3 days, and if that's like a universal tip to do that every time you launch a shirt, I'm not sure how that can be done, me personally, because I cut quick. I cut poor performing ads quick, and if there's like a campaign or a certain shirt that's just totally performing bad and I'm getting high cost, then I'm going to cut it quickly. I'm not going to let it run for 2 days just because it says Facebook. It takes that long for Facebook to optimize your campaign. If you're targeting very targeted, passionate individuals in your target market, it shouldn't take that long for you to get a good idea if the campaign has potential or not. So I use those early ad stats, and I want to see decent click-through rate in the beginning. I want to see decent CPC. I'm not really going off of that completely, but I want to see it. I don't want to see 1% click-through rate or below when I'm throwing up a test. I don't want to see CPCs high, super high, 60 cents or something. I want decent ad stats in the beginning. The next thing I do is pretty much look at exactly what I'm launching on the ad sets and what the engagement looks like. See, I launched this one 22 hours ago, and I launched this one 23 hours ago, so launched around the same exact time here. And what I would like to look at is just like how the engagement's coming along, right? As you can see here, we have 16, 17, 18, 19 engaged, 19 likes here, and just 2 shares. The first thing I look at when I start getting likes and shares and comments in is the balance between likes and shares. I like to have like a 50% balance here. That gives a good sign that this may have some potential in it. Like if this was 20 and then shares was 9 or 10, then that's a pretty good sign early on in the beginning. Also like to look at the comments and see what they're saying. In a day's time, you should get some people in the comment section asking to buy or saying that they need it. I did get one person saying that they need this and that they want to buy it, so I will take a look at that person. But with only 2 shares and almost 20 likes, that kind of concerns me as far as the potential of this particular campaign, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. Not saying I'm going to cut it because it's super early on. I've only spent $6 on this, So it's super early. I still have a few different targeting angles to try, and I'm going to go up to 25 more than likely because the ad stats are decent. They're around 3 to 4% click-through rate, so they're not horrible. So I'm going to let it run until I get a sign that it's just not going to work. I believe I have pretty good targeting for this shirt here, and I see that there's some interest, so I will let it run up to 25 at least, more than likely. Going over here to this shirt, I live the Pew Pew life. Launched at the same exact time, yet has 170 likes and 75 shares. So this is a pretty good ratio here, pretty good balance. The comments, it's a lot more engagement, a lot more comments than the previous shirt. And I actually have a sale popped in. Here she is here. So I have a sale on one of my ad sets, and it's a pretty good sale. It's like a $4 sale. And I have a few other ad sets up it hasn't reached a threshold to where I would worry or anything. They're all around like $4. So super early on for this one too, but it's looking a lot better than this one. So like I said, both of them could fail. Both of them could succeed. One could go on to sell a bunch, one could go on to sell 20. Who knows what's really going to happen at the end of the day, but this is basically what I do, how I look at everything when deciding what the potential is for a particular campaign. So with all of this data, with the my assets here, they're getting good 10% click-through rate, 8%, so they're getting good click-through rates, good CPC, so I'm happy there. Over here, it's a little bit worse stats up front, and the engagement also, so I'm keeping my eye really close on this one, and if I see any signs to where it needs to go, I'm going to cut it and move on, forget about it. And that's pretty much what I wanted to get on here and talk about, just the early signs of what I use to measure the potential of a particular campaign. Again, I'm launching tons of campaigns per day. Me and my team, we're working on increasing that amount of campaigns that we launch per day. We're trying to launch 10 plus t-shirts, just t-shirts per day, consistently 10 per day, and that's just something that we've been working on. Not saying that you have to aim for that or that's going to be your goal. Pedro and Mariana, one of my students, they did one per day for a long time and succeeded. So it's up to you, but the way I look at it, the more you launch, the quicker you find your winners. And I just wanted to hop on here and do this video to show you how I look at early stats and early engagement to get a measure to gauge what the potential is for a particular campaign. All right, let me know if you have any questions, guys. Hope you enjoyed this.